Hi, this is Josh Kostelecki, and I did my research on influencing young adults' feelings of marriage within Bronfenbrenner's Microsystem. That's a tough name to pronounce. So, the source is how young adults choose to be in a marriage and relationships, and how to conduct their relationship comes from close family members and friends. So, that's specifically within the microsystem of Bronfenbrenner's theory. The identity is the outcome of how young adults choose to get married or be in a committed relationship. The identity is how they ultimately conduct their relationships. So, do they conduct it well? Do they not? And then my theory is Bronfenbrenner's microsystem, specifically out of all of his different systems. I focused specifically on the microsystem, which describes influences from people closest to you, such as direct family members and friends, or people that you see every day. Siblings, friends, teachers, things like that. The main points discovered from Digest 1 is a quote here from one of my references. Belief in marital myths has been linked to the development of unrealistic expectations of marriage in an individual. And then some of the stuff I came up with out of those were certain false beliefs of marriage often lead to divorce, as it ends up being the same as what they're taught as a child. I like to call this the Princess Prince effect, where people think it's going to be happily ever after. That's just not the case. And then it is also important for a child to understand the realistic expectations of a marriage, such as hard work and what conflict resolution should be. And although divorce rates are high, expectations of getting married in the U.S. are also high, and that's primarily due to tradition. For Digest 2, or my second source, was a quote, when young people listen to their parents, siblings, and friends, they share stories about significant life and transitions. The narrative can have a profound impact. And some of the stuff I came up with was, aside from those articles, I should say, aside from what their parents have taught, siblings and friends also shape one's thoughts and feelings of intimate relationships. You've all sat around with your friends and talked about your relationships. That does have an impact on how you handle them in the future. Stories of sexual and intimate relations from close friends and siblings help shape viewpoints on what is socially normal and acceptable. Yeah, you've all shared those stories too. So, and those do have also a profound effect as far as what happens or how you conduct your serious relationships or marriages. And then stories heard from other peers among young adult college students about intimacy and sex is carried into adulthood. So most of what you, or how you conduct, or how a kid would conduct themselves in a marriage when they get married, it actually comes from previous stories or what other people have experienced or even what kids have witnessed. And then my last digest, the quote I got from that was, parental involvement can also be characterized by supportive behaviors that facilitate romantic relationship or by restrictive behaviors that impede the progression of romantic relationships. And some of the stuff I got from that, or the main points I got from that, was how parents handle their kids or young adults' relationships can affect how They handle relationships such as having commitment issues, along with several other things such as how one handles turbulence. And then disapproval from one's microsystem can affect how someone handles relationships in the future. So your friends' opinions, your parents' opinions about who you're dating or with, or how your marriage is even going does have an effect. I've actually seen this with other people's relationships. And as much as my parents have tried to tell me yay or nay on people, I always made my own decisions. But a lot of times with a lot of people, it does have an impact. And then lastly, how one handles relational turbulence can depend upon the opinions of their parents, how their most influential people in their microsystem feel about their partner. So kind of along the same lines, it does have an effect. And my references are as follows. Thanks for watching.